Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if you're joining me today, welcome. I'm so glad that you have found me. And if this is your first time, make sure that you've subscribed to the YouTube channel, and it's right down below where you do that. And if you're joining through Facebook, make sure that you've given StreamYard permission so that I know who I'm talking to. Just beware that if you are watching this on a replay, it is part of a live, so I may be interacting with the different people that are on here, but that's just the thing of being live, and you get your questions answered right away, right? So welcome to my Technique Tuesday. How did they do that technique? And basically this, I really went into the vault for this one. This one, I can remember doing this, I would say almost 18, 19 years ago. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Betty. So yes, it's a really neat technique, but simple technique. I'm going to be doing a little bit. I've done some prep work ahead of time because there's some different. There's a lot of die cutting in this particular card, but that's only because that's what I wanted to do with it. So it's not like it's a normal thing to do. But welcome, like I say, welcome for joining me earlier than what I normally do. But I I don't know why people decide to do things when I have to do things, and I have a really important Zoom that I have to get to at 5 o'clock. So I will get there and we will do it. Hello, everyone. All right, so let me just, I'm going, how do I get back down there? uh, it's that kind of a day, right? All right, so this, like I say, is such an old technique. This, like I say, I used to give out technique books all the time during my in my clubs, and what happened was um, I stopped doing that. And of course, well, I stopped doing that when it was COVID. But when I started doing it again, I went into the old books and I looked at all my techniques and I went, oh, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. So, hello, everyone. In any event, we are doing embedded bossing technique. Such a simple, simple technique. And the key to this technique is the embossing folder. So, ooh, did I bring one? So what you want to do is you want to have an embossing folder that is a 3D embossing folder. This is what makes the whole thing is your embossing folder. And what you do with this is entirely a totally different sort of thing that you can do. So that's the whole key. I say the 3D. Now, if you want something to be a little less subtle or a little less embossed, you would go with a more subtle one. But it is so simple, and you'll find yourself going, oh man, why didn't I do that? That's for sure. So what you can use are different die cuts. You can use punches. But what you want to do is you want to have a bunch of things already cut out. So, I went back to, and this one is probably going to retire, is this True Beauty. What's it called? There's another name for this suite, a Wash and Beauty. And it has the designer series paper, the stamp sets, and the dies. So what I did was I took this paper, and I don't know about you guys, but I find this a useless piece of designer series paper. I like a designer series paper. How sad is that? That's got more to it. So, but the beauty of this is that these dies cut out an awful lot of the different images on here. So what I did was I turned around and I just went and I die cut a bunch of these images, and then we'll put those together there. Now, what I could have done was I could have taken my stamp set, and I definitely could have gone and I could have, oh, I'm wondering, let me just double check this, because these do cut out, but I didn't see that cut that one out, and I kind of wanted one of those, but that's okay. But in any event, it has, they cut out all these, but they also cut out like this, these little ones here, and it looks like it also cuts that one out as well. So I've gone ahead and cut those out. And then I also turned around and I went and I used a Granny Apple Green for this one. And I might tone that down a bit. And I also did a Blackberry Bliss with this one, But all the rest are just from these images, and we're going to put a card together just with these images cut out from there. Now, like I say, I could have gone and stamped all of these. I could have gotten them in all the colors that I wanted them to be in, and I've used this stamp set actually quite a bit. So, but I thought, let's show you how to do the gist of the whole technique. Oh my goodness. Oh, Betty, you were using this suite this afternoon. Well, that's great. And hello, Lorraine. All right. So we have that. We are going to have to bring in my cut and emboss machine, but we can do that as well. And I don't even know what kind of, I think I'll do a thanks card. I like having thanks cards. They seem to be the ones that I post on the blog as often. It does definitely cut that. You know, I'm going to be mad that I don't have one of those blue sprigs or whatever it is. Now, I'm telling you, for this technique, this one would work amazing as well. But maybe I'll do that in a bit with that. But, oh, it's here. And let's see if that'll cut it, because I might want to just have that on there. So that'll be one thing that I'm going to cut extra. It does cut it. Yes, I can see that. That was one of my favorite to stamp and do that way. The other thing with this die is this one here. Beautiful lattice work. So pretty. Remember doing a very delicate card with this. So who's excited about the catalog? I know I'm just beside myself. Let's see. Yep, that goes. You know what? I am going to cut that out ahead of time because I just think it's so pretty. I'm going to just cut it down smaller. And I might use it, I might not use it, but yeah. So, all right. So let's just, I'll bring that embossing thing up in a bit on that, or I could fussy cut it as well. All right. So this is the technique. I am going to use the open cane. I think that's what this is called on here. And these are the colors that I'm actually using. I'm using Blackberry Bliss. Who thinks this one color is going to retire? I don't know. I have my certain ones that I think are going to retire, but I don't know. Anyways, I've done this at 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. We always want to fold into the mountain because what we've done is we've broken our paper fibers down. And what that does when I fold in, and when you fold into the mountain, it's folding the opposite way of what you really think. It gives me a nice even score line or an edge right along, right along that edge there. All right. And so I thought, you know, it'd be nice to have a blushing bride on here. And how I did this was I looked at this, and the pink that I cut out was a blushing bride. This is polished pink, and it had the Blackberry Bliss. So that's how a lot of times people say, oh, how come you've got your colors that way? But all right, so let's go ahead and yes, I'll put this one down. I'm using the glue. Excuse me. I'm just going to put this on here. And I do have these banners cut out from Stylish Shapes. I don't know which ones I'm going to use yet. Excuse me. And I've got 2 pieces. One's for the inside and one's for the outside. Now, this is where the magic starts working. I don't know if I'm going to use this. So, like I say, I've got a bunch of these things already cut out. And the whole key to this is we're going to just take some of these, and I'm just going to move that one out of the way. We're just going to put that kind of like that. This is where I want the blushing bride. I'm going to put some of this on here. Now, I'm going to stick maybe that behind there. I'm just sort of placing these at this point right now. A couple of these cut out. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Maybe this will just go up here somewhere. And I've got this Granny Apple Green, but I kind of think that it's a little too bright. So I'm just going to come in actually with my Old Olive. Oops. Oh dear. Just going to come in with my Old Olive, and I just want to actually just change the color of that just a bit. Just, I call it dirtying it up a bit. You could do this with any color, really. Just kind of took that real brightness away. That's going to go on there. We're going to also stick this behind here. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to come in and I want to just adhere this on here. I don't have to make sure it's down a lot because of the technique that I'm actually going ahead and doing. Let's see if I've got any questions. Honestly, Betty, when it comes to that, that lattice shape, I can't be bothered to figure out what to do with the lattice pieces. I have so many pieces that what I do is I turn around. I've got a box that I give to the school district, and they get all those sort of goodies. So I'm just going to kind of layer this down. Let's stick that underneath. And like I say, hardly any glue that I'm using on here, just a tiny little bit. I could use my seal on here. It would work just fine. Let's put this underneath as well. You know what? I should have had this down a little bit. Let me just try to take that down. I'm going to put this here. Then I can put this underneath. And then I can also put some of this. I know I want this underneath here. I want it underneath. But this may be up a little too high, but that's okay. I'll just come and I'll just trim that part off. You know, I'm with you, Felicia. I hope that Blackberry Bliss doesn't go away either. It's just one of those beautiful, beautiful colors that, you know, and this should have been down. I didn't think this out too well. I'm going to kind of just lift this up. You'll see what I mean by this. There we go. And we can put this in here. Let's see, how's that looking? I have to look up on the, this could come down here. Let's do that. I'm going to cut some of this off as well. Yeah, I don't know what colors are going to retire. We won't know until next week. So this, I'm going to get going in there. I want to bring out some of that Blackberry Bliss, right? So, and see how I'm just putting this on here, and you can go ahead and do an awful lot. Hello, Robin from Australia. Oh, Michelle. I hope you got my message today. There we go. And you know what? I can just cut this off there. All right. So I've kind of got it the way I kind of want it. And it looks like, oh, it looks kind of okay. I guess I could have done this. But I'm going to turn around and my sentiment is going to come here. I'm going to do a double sort of sentiment there. I'm going to put it across there with some ribbon on there. Now this is how we get the embedded embossing. So what I'm going to do is I am taking my, where did I put that? This open cane weave embossing folder. And I'm just going to take this like this and let's run that through the emboss, the cut and emboss. So I have to bring my big one on because it's this. It's a regular size embossing folder. We come in with we have our regular 1 plate and our number 4 plate. And we're just going to run that through. When we did this years ago, well, of course, we didn't have die cuts years ago. So all of this was done in punches. And I remember doing one with circles and with the embossing folder. So like I say, this is an oldie but a goldie. All right, so watch. What that does is it now puts it right into the paper. And that's why I didn't have to glue down a whole lot. So that's how it looks. Is that not pretty? Okay, so we can go ahead and put this on here. See how that goes? Oh, so pretty. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put this down here. And we're going to put some ribbon on it as well. Now, like I say, I can turn around, and what I should have done was actually had another piece. So what I'm going to do for the center is I'm going to take another one of these flowers and just put it on the inside. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to take that time with it. So now let's go ahead and put the sentiment on. Now I'm going to probably come in with my Blackberry Bliss. I am. And I'm taking this from the hand pinned, this Thanks. It's one of my favorite. Oops, look what I did. Oh my goodness. How did I do that? Anyways, we're going to put this just like this. Now I have 2 options. What I can do is just put this on there like that, or I could put it like this. And this is how I think I'm going to do it. This would have been nice on a really big banner. I'm going to just leave it like that. And let me just try this other thing that I'm going to do. So I have my white bias ribbon. Who knows? This is retiring. Like, this is the big question. Like, the 29th of March is such a big day for us. So I'm taking my Blackberry Bliss, because we don't have, I took the light one, and I'm just using this on the bias ribbon. It's about 9 inches to make a bow. I like when you use the blends on your ribbon, because what happens then is it takes that static away. I showed the other day how you can take the static away by just using your rubbing alcohol as well. Okay, so let's just want to tie that a little tighter. So I can go and cut that in my ribbon scissors. So let's see how this is going to work. So it's just going to go like this. Maybe it's going to go underneath it. You know what? I think I'm going to try a double bow. Just bear with me. I'm thinking a double bow might be better. I need more. I wish we had a thicker white ribbon that I could use. There is the organdy. There is one that you can have, but it's got flecks in it and it wrecks your blends. So I don't color it that often. Oh, I know what would have worked. You know what? I want a bigger ribbon. So this would work. The Fresh Freesia ribbon would work. Let me just cut that, and I can, yeah, that'll be better. Yeah, much better. I want it to be a bigger bow. So about 9 inches for a bow. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go cut that. Oops. And it's not dark all the way, so let's go ahead and do that. There we go. All right. So let's go and put that onto, it's right in the wrong way for this. So I'm going to put that on with dimensionals. Now I'm putting that onto something dark, so I'll probably use my black dimensionals. I know it's light to a dark, but I always find as soon as it's close to a dark, the white shows up a lot more than, say, the black does. So, thank you. Oh, got a bit of a crease in there. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and just put this on. So like I say, even if that's not glued down very much, the embossing is going to attach it to your embossed part. So I never used to use that much glue on there. Like that. You know what? I'm thinking aloud, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe I need to have this darker. I do. Ugh. Boy, I'm very indecisive today, aren't I? Yeah, I want it to be darker, so I can just come in and color this. It's going to be kind of two-tone. Come around and just do the back of it as well. So, there we go. Really want that down. And we're going to trim this. There we go. Whoops, that didn't stick down very well. Okay. All right, so we're just going to put this here. I'm going to go ahead and put this right. That bow is not being very there. I'm going to put that down with a glue dot. And if I want, I could use a glue dot to get the other side, but I think we'll be okay on this. I'm going to put 2 glue dots on there. Like so, and then this is just going to go on here. There's not much popped up on this card at all, so you know, you could probably turn around and get regular post on this. So that's just going to go on there like that. Now, we also have, and I'm going to have to hold that down because of the embossing, and I have so little of these left, but it's going to work. These are the in color, the expiring in colors, 2021, 23 in colors, and they're the opal rounds, but I do have some in the here, so I'm going to come in with my dark. I'm going to color some of these opal rounds. Let me just move that out of the way. My goodness, I got a real mess going for me. Grab my take your pick tool. And let's use those. There. And if I wanted to, I think that would be all right. That works okay. Now, like I say, what I would do on the inside, I definitely would want to do this, is I can cut those out and then just glue on an inside piece like this. So that's what I'm going to do. I will have some flowers on there, but I'm not going to do that right now I don't want to take up your time. So there's the embedded embossing. Thank you. So, like I say, it's an oldie but a goldie. Found it in ones from, I'm sure it's 19 years ago that I did this particular technique. But yeah. So what's going to happen tomorrow? This will be put on in my Facebook group at 9:05. I like to do it at 9:05. At 9 o'clock, what I do, this is Pacific time. At 9 o'clock, I give you a reminder that it's going. It goes to the Facebook group. Now that group, the link is down below. So if you're not a member of that Stampin' with Diane Stampers group, you'll have to be there in order to download this this PDF. I'm going to have a picture of the card here. I will have a link to the YouTube thing so you can turn around and print it off. You can also, at this point, is do a sample. The best thing to remember how to do things is to do a sample. I will have the measurements on here. I'll include those. I will also put the different sort of things that I've used, like what embossing folder I used, what designer series paper I used, and that sort of stuff. And this is episode 44. I mean, can you believe that I've been doing this for 44 weeks? 44 different techniques. So you will be able to, and if you haven't caught them, you can go back and do those as well. But I think that turned out okay. It's such pretty paper, this. Now, think of it this way. You could use this on any kind of designer series paper. So in any event, let's see if there's any questions at all. Let's see. Thank you. Yes, make sure that you do try this, Kathy, and post it. Like if there's something that you want to do, is post it in my group. It's really neat when other people see that you're actually using the techniques that I'm doing. Well, it's nice for me because then at least that way I know everything. Yes, everything's new. So if you like that, give me the thumbs up. Please give me the thumbs up. And also, if you would share my video, I really, truly would appreciate it. That's one of the biggest forms of a compliment that you can give. So if you're off your Facebook, you can share from there. You can also share my YouTube video as well. And if you live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Reach out if you do not have a demonstrator, because I'm now starting to sort through and get the list of the names for my for the catalogs that I'm going to be sending out in Canada. And of course, there's going to be it'll probably be the 7th, that weekend around the 7th of May is going to be an online catalog launch, because I know the weekend after Melva's taking off to Calgary to meet up with her sister to go on the Norway trip, and I'm leaving on Monday to go on the Norway trip, so on the 13th there. So in any event, thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I actually even have the hints going on tomorrow, or the clues going on. They're already sitting there tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock Pacific, I will be coming on using those 3 clues, and we will be making a card or a 3D, or we'll be making something with it. In any event, you guys have a great evening. We will talk to you soon. Bye for now.